Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, Cloudcast Media. Always a good day. We have our friends back in from EDforTech, and they brought their colleagues from Feaster Charter School with them. We got Todd, Ullah. Todd and I have known each other for we won't say how long. It's for a while. Todd is the Chief Strategy Officer for EDforTech. How you doing there, Todd?
I'm doing fine, Drew. Thanks for having us in.
Very, very good. And joining Todd is the more than capable project manager for EDforTech, and that's Danielle Bush. How you doing, Danielle?
Great. Thanks for having me back on.
Absolutely. And joined by some cool cats from Feaster Charter School, Stephan, Phan. How are you, Stephan?
I'm doing well, thank you.
How long you been at Feaster?
I have been there for 6 years, since 2007.
2007, very, very good. And you're joined by your colleague, Yareli, Parga. She has been there not quite as long as you, is that correct?
This is my second year.
Very good. You enjoying it?
So much.
Very, very good. That sounds good. And I'm joined by our curiosity shipper. As our audience knows, we don't do internships at Cloudcast. We do curiosity ships. And this has been one of our great ones there, Isha Walia. She is an incoming junior at Northeastern University in Boston. And
Wow.
this is your fifth or sixth, or which one?
I think my fourth show.
Your fourth show.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And she's my co-host, and it's all good stuff. And she's got a question for you right out of the gate, Todd.
Yes, tell us, what's the mission of EDforTech?
Well, our tagline is we want to build capacity. We want to teach STEM better, help people teach STEM better, and of course, enhance learning.
Awesome. And also, now to pass it on to Stephan, tell us, what's the mission of Feaster Charter School?
Yeah, Feaster exists to really help develop our students in many different ways for them to become 21st century learners. So we look at both social, emotional, their health, their academics, of course, all of that combined.
Yeah, always good to sit there and treat the whole child for that matter, and actually the whole adult while we're at it in that aspect of it. You, Todd, how long has EDforTech been in business?
We were founded in 2020 as a corporation out of Eugene, Oregon, and our parent company is Interactive Media Publishing, which has been providing Exploring Robotics, that brand, which is what we do in the summers,
right,
as a turnkey solution since 2013.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I'll ask this one to Yareli. So with Feaster, you guys were formed many years ago, were you not?
Yes, in 1950.
Right, exactly. And you have how many students?
1,100.
And what grade levels?
We serve preschool to 8th grade.
And are you in the Chula Vista Elementary School District?
Yes, we're in the Chula Vista Elementary School District.
Yeah, one of our good friends is the superintendent there. Eduardo has done a wonderful job. And actually now, and you probably know this, Todd, one of the assistant superintendents, longtime assistant soups at Chula Vista, is now working for us at the San Diego County Office of Education, Matt Tessier. And if you knew Matt was in charge of instruction for the district and just did a terrific job in that aspect of it. We're happy to have him running the Innovation Center, where Classroom of the Future Foundation is housed. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So, Isha?
Yeah, I had a question for Stephan. I know that you had the Feaster Charter School Future Innovators Summer Camp this past summer. How was that? Tell us more about that.
Oh, that was amazing. It's my very first time teaching STEM camp. We've heard of STEM before, but to really teach a program that's all about STEM, it's my very first time. I was a little nervous to take the position, but I was excited at the same time because I know being an educator for 15 years, our students really need to be immersed in STEM. And having served primarily at schools who serve low socioeconomic students who come from underprivileged homes, I really want to provide them as many opportunities as we can at Feaster so that they can be prepared for their futures. And so that's why I came on board. A little nervous because I haven't taught that subject before, but EDforTech has been instrumental in helping us get that started. The training was great. Their program was very well written, very easy to follow, and the students were really engaged. It's really hard to ask them to go on breaks because they're so engaged in their work.
No, that's a good thing. So Danielle, let me ask you this, and you can jump in on this too, Todd, on this. Talk about the relationship with the Classroom of the Future Foundation and EDforTech for one, especially as it ties to the Extending Learning Grant.
Yeah, absolutely. We found out about the Expanded Learning Grant at the end of last year, and we were looking for partners to make sure we can serve the students. We had been serving the students in the San Diego city area. We wanted to expand our reach to the north, south counties, and so we partnered up with a Classroom of the Future Foundation, which was a great partner to write the grant and then to reach out to a couple partners in the city that would serve students directly in those areas. And we partnered up with San Pasqual Reservation and their education center there, as well as Feaster Charter School.
Right. So it's our 2-year grant, I think $75,000 each year. Is that correct?
Yes, and that was made through generous support from San Diego Foundation.
Right, exactly. And Classroom of the Future Foundation, which is a little bit near and dear to my heart since I've been involved in it since it started in 1997. Yes, I'm 105 years old. That is how that stuff works. But it's been working with Todd, and we're thrilled to do that. Todd, talk about how critical that partnership is with the CFF.
Yeah, it is critical, and in fact, I just want to take a segue. In a good friend Tom Davis, who was recognized this year as a distinguished educator with CFF,
right,
was reached out. I reached out to Tom, who knows Heather Galen at Feaster, and that's how we connected, was through CFF. So that was an interesting connection, but it's an important connection in the community, both the business, education, and higher education communities. We've both engaged learners across those grade levels and institutions, and thinking about STEM and how to make how to solve the problems for tomorrow. And I think that what CFF is doing and lending a hand to doing that across this county has been instrumental in innovation.
I appreciate it. We're chatting with Todd Ullah. He's the Chief Strategy Officer for EDforTech, joined by his project manager, Danielle Bush, and their colleagues from Feaster Charter School, Stephan, Phan, and Yareli. Parga. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 17th year. We're real proud of that. Broadcast from these beautiful mission-fed studios in the Scripps Ranch and Mission Federal Credit Union. As anyone who's been around in this area for a while, been doing great things for more than 60 years. In our region, I'm joined by a phenomenal co-host, Isha Walia. She's an incoming junior at Northeastern University in Boston. Before we go to Todd, you talk a little about NSBE Seek Summer Camp, okay, and what you've been doing around the country. Want to ask Yareli a question on this, and you can jump in too, Stephen. So, Yareli, on this, what is a community school, and how does that tie into what Feaster is doing?
Our community school has a purpose to connect with parents and the community members in order to create new opportunities for all learners who are connected to Feaster Charter School.
Right, and what's nice about it, there's a lot of money coming down from the state on this, from the Department of Ed and Newsom and all this, I think billions of dollars, and community school is not a new concept. We were talking about it when I was working for San Diego Unified when they barely had running water, but it wasn't quite that long ago. But the idea was make that the hub, make it a hub of, whether it's going to be, getting parents involved, whether it's job training involved, whether it's workforce involved. And it makes all the sense in the world. The school has always been a hub of that neighborhood and that aspect of it. And, Yareli, you've been there now. You're teaching fourth grade. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Fourth grade. What do you like about Feaster? What's it make different about Feaster and working with folks like Stephan?
Feaster and my colleagues are amazing, and there's such a big sense of community in Feaster Charter School. There's a lot of community outreach, there's a lot of resources, and it's not something that you see in every school you go. So we feel very lucky to have all these resources, and all our students have, because of these resources, have a sense of equity. There's more equity, there's more opportunities, and that we've been really lucky.
Yeah, and the Feaster's been recognized by the Classroom of the Future Foundation at I think our annual event. As you know, Todd, you were there, and that Danielle, I believe you were at that event as well. We come back from break. Todd, I want to chat a little bit about the NSBE Seek Summer Camp. Okay,
Absolutely.
What that's all about, and so forth. I know Isha has some questions on some of the programs that EDforTech runs. She'll ask Danielle on this. And when we get back to Feaster, we always save time in our shows. What can our listeners do to support your efforts? So keep that in mind when we return, chatting with our good friends from EDforTech and Feaster Charter School. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and we will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 17th year. We are in the beautiful Mission Fed studios here in Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed continuing to do great things in San Diego for more than 60 years, joined by my just terrific co-host, Isha Walia. She's an incoming junior at Northeastern University out in Boston. She has some bunch of questions for our cool guests from EDforTech and for Feaster Elementary. Todd, right before break, we were talking about NSB Seek Summer Camp. What's that all about?
Yeah, it's as part of the EDforTech mission around diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want to be able to offer educational, especially STEM opportunities for kids around the world that have traditionally been underserved in these areas. And so our colleague, this goes shout out to Joe Lively, our Chief Operating Officer, he formed a partnership with the National Society of Black Engineers. And through our work together, we offered camps around the United States, Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, Washington, D.C., here in San Diego, where we put together programs that offer these types of tools and learning opportunities for kids all over the country. Similarly to Feaster, it's the Feaster Charter School programs and the ones in North and South County are full day. The ones we did for NSBE were half day, and we did some virtual camps as well. So we were able to reach thousands of kids this summer through that work.
Yeah, and very motivating to them, I imagine. Isha?
Yeah, I had a question for Danielle. Tell us more about EDforTech's community outreach efforts and your focus on serving disadvantaged students.
Well, as I mentioned, we here in San Diego specifically, we were lucky enough to be awarded generous support from San Diego Foundation in multiple grants. So we were awarded the Expanded Learning Grant that we partnered up with Classroom of the Future Foundation, and we were able to reach students at the San Pasqual Reservation as well as down in Feaster Charter School. And we also had an amazing partner who was on the show with us last time, Ebony James from the Logan Heights CDC. And it's been her vision the last several years to offer STEM camps in the Logan Heights community area. And she's brought STEM to those students. And she did 9 weeks of camp this summer, full day.
Wow.
And so that was really great for the community, for the parents to have access to all-day childcare where their kids were engaging in STEM principles and learning computer science and having lots of fun.
You know, one of the things I wanted to ask you, and then we're going to tee it up with our friends from Feaster on this. So you've been doing these things for a while, Danielle, of course. And then talk about when you see these students when they first start the camp and their eyeballs are probably the size of saucers. So what have I got myself into, you know? And then now when they're done, talk about the transformation.
The transformation is a lot of fun. Todd and I always try to get over to what we call capstone events. And so with these longer programs, what we try to do at the end of the program is have a capstone event and a graduation. The kids are awarded certificates in computer science and engineering from the University of California, San Diego Extended Studies program. And so that's a lot of fun for the kids to take ownership of that, as well as just the team building skills that they learn, the getting on stage and presenting to the parents and families and their fellow peers what they've learned, and then just the families that come up to us at the end and then just thank us. You know, we had a dentist appointment and my son didn't even want to go because he loves camp so much, and just the engagement that the teachers tell us. And
you sure that was the only reason?
Even just little things,
right.
Even just to hear the teachers say that the kids don't want to miss a day. And even just the transformation, I was so surprised to hear Stephan say right now that he was nervous going into this teaching a STEM camp because these are two amazing educators. And one thing that I like to think of is that our programs are turnkey, but they're not one size fits all. So it's really the people who are putting together the program, working directly with the students that really make it their own and make it engaging for the kids. And there's transformation and growth there as well, as now they're ready to turn around and do an after-school program at the school and take the curriculum. And so at the end of the day, it just means more robots in the hands of kids and more learning that's going on for everyone.
No, that's great. Todd?
Yeah, just a quick note. The programs that were run this summer, the schedule was kids came to the camps in the mornings and they did academic enrichment, which was part of the requirement for the San Diego Foundation grants, both extended learning and level up. And then they got into Coder Z, which is an online coding system. There was a lunch, and then in the afternoons they engaged in hands-on robotics with the teachers in the program. That was the schedule.
Yeah, Stephan, we heard from Danielle about, the excitement of the kids on this, and there's nothing better from a teacher standpoint. I want to get Yareli's feedback on this too. When you see a parent come up to you and said, "What are you doing with my kids?" They are just electrified. Talk about how important that is.
Yeah, I think one of the pieces that Feaster would like is to involve the parents more into their children's education. And so the capstone event that Danielle was mentioning earlier provided that opportunity. Oftentimes when we do have parent activities, we don't have a lot of parents who come in because of work and commitments. But what we saw from the capstone event in the summer was the absolute opposite. All of the parents showed up. We had a family who... just to give you some context to the summer program, Feaster has only 6 weeks off. And so the summer camp was 4 weeks already.
Wow.
And so some of the families wanted to fit in some time for their kids to travel at the same time. And so one of the families told us that their two children who were in the program won't be able to make it to the capstone. And so we were trying to find out ways to encourage that family to come. And eventually that family did come and also invited the cousin who were supposed to be traveling with them. So both families came, and they were really excited to see what their children have learned. And the capstone was an opportunity for them to showcase what they learned and provided the families a glimpse into what the camp was about.
Well, if that's not an endorsement, for how cool this is and how excited the kids are, and Yareli, I think, talk a little bit about and we all know this. It's been obvious since people were walking upright. When you motivate folks, whether it's adult or kids, they actually go to a different level. And of course, that's just a great, testament to what you folks are doing. These kids don't think it's learning, do they?
They think it was so much fun for them. They enjoyed doing all the programs. It was also a great time to community build with each other, and they found a common purpose, robotics and computer science. And it was great to see how they worked together, how they worked independently, and how they became better problem solvers. And a lot of students have been asking me about next year already, and they're interested in the program.
So how much will that transfer right now when you get back into the regular school year, okay? Are they going to keep that momentum? Are they going to keep that excitement? Have you set the bar so high for your colleagues that what have you done to us? Talk about that.
Definitely, it has transferred. One of our students that was in the STEM camp is my current student in my classroom, and I see him taking things that he's learned in the STEM camp into our activities in school and math. And also we have a lot of technology camps, electives.
Yeah, well, listen, I think that was great. I think, of course, these kids, Todd, we've talked about this before in the air. Old folks like me are afraid to use technology because we're afraid we'll hit a button and send a missile to Korea by accident. And these guys grow up on learning how, out of the womb, how to do all this stuff, which probably makes it, very, very good and very easy when you start, focus on these things. Isha, I know you have a question for Todd on some of the challenges.
Yeah, tell us more about some of the significant challenges that are faced by those that you serve.
The kids, especially or rural and urban areas, the opportunities themselves are so important for a company to present those opportunities for youth to see themselves outside of their community. Isha. It's so important to us to have those lights go on and say, I can see myself being an engineer, being a scientist, being a mathematician, and in that way, our mission's kind of made by seeing those kids engage in the work that Yareli and Stephan have done this summer and others across the country.
Yeah, and I think, there's so much learning on this. There's some great things going on in the schools. We all know that, and this aspect of it. But we love on our spotlight shows, Todd and Danielle, to shine a light on these things. So I'll start with you on this, Danielle. If people have heard this and say, all right, how do I get engaged with EDforTech? Okay, how do we, try to ramp the bar and all that stuff? How do they get a hold of you?
They can visit our website. It's www.edfortech.com. They can reach out there, get in touch with our team if you're interested in partnering as an industry partner for one of our industry days, if you're here locally as being part of our camps, if you're an administrator in schools and interested in getting programs and learning more about getting the programs into your school, feel free to contact us. And if you're just a community member, just interested in learning more about what we do, definitely reach out. We have EDforTech.com, and then we also have EDforTech Alliance, which is our nonprofit division.
Right. So, Stephan, if folks are listening to this, and hopefully they are, I know they are actually, and they have an interest of, getting involved with Feaster Charter School, do they have to be in the district? Do they have to be in Chula Vista to be part of this, or can there be an inter-district transfer? Do you know about that?
As far as I know, Feaster Charter School is a dependent charter school, which means we do rely on the district that provides the charter, which
Right.
is Chula Vista Elementary School District.
Right.
And as far as I know, they do need to be within the residential area to go to our school.
Right, exactly. So, well, and maybe there's some other schools that are outside of Chula Vista that can learn from what you folks are doing. And do you have people come in and watch your demonstrations, watch what you're doing?
We do have guests who come in to visit our school. Our school has been recognized from the National Center of Urban School Transformation a couple of times. And so people from other schools around the country sometimes would visit us just to see what an NCUS school is and what America's best urban school looks like. And so when they visit, they would walk through the school, and we have an amazing Mind Labs program, which is all of the STEM fields and also the VAPA fields that are embedded into our weekly program, where students get to visit these classes once a week. And so sometimes people will visit to see those programs as well. So we do have a lot of visitors. We're very open. Please come and check us out.
Okay, is there a website? They just go right to the Feaster Charter School website?
Correct.
Okay.
Also through the district, cvesd.org.
Very, very good. Isha, I know you got a final comment for Todd, and probably one from Yareli as well.
Yeah, I'll start with Todd. Tell us, how can the Spotlight on the Community listeners, how can they help?
Yeah, they can help in two ways. One, by contacting, as Danielle said, our group at www.EDforTech.com or www.EDforTech.org, where we work with rural school districts around the country. And they can support us by being partners.
Yeah, there's many ways they can volunteer, they can contribute, they can donate, they've got product and so forth on that. So I'm going to ask you the same question, Yareli. How can our listeners support you personally and your colleague Stephan, and of course, most importantly, the students at Feaster?
They can help by just being part of our community, being inclusive, and reaching out if they would like to help. We would appreciate that.
Very good. So I encourage us, folks, to take a listen to this. There's some great content. You've heard from EDforTech in the past. They're continuing to do great things. You'll hear even more because there'll be the second year of the expanded learning coming up, and other things as well. And Feaster, one of the top charter schools in our region, we're honored at the Classroom of the Future Foundation to recognize them for the great work on this. And can't thank all of you, Todd, Yareli, Danielle, and Stephan, for coming in. And let's make sure you make a return appearance somewhere down the road. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Great. Thank you.
You bet. It was absolutely my pleasure. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're doing this for 17 years now in the beautiful Mission Fed studios. Want to give a shout out to Mission Fed for continuing to do great things in our community. And of course, my wonderful co-host, another great interview. Did you enjoy this one?
I enjoyed this one a lot.
I know what you say. You always come out of here learning about 50 million things. And one of the things what happens is Isha is such a great community partner. She winds up go visiting the places where there are guests. So it would not surprise me in her short time before she goes back to Northeastern that you might swing by Feaster Charter School down the road on this. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.